I'm just gonna cut straight to the point. This might be a long video because this strike is kind of annoying. So I'm gonna quickly recommend what you should use and then go straight to like strike tips. But before that, if this helps you or you like the video, be sure to sub, like, hit the stupid bell, all that. Alright, enough shameless plugging. So for Warlocks, for Hollowed Lair, really you only have two options in my opinion. You either do Shadebinder with the Bleak Watcher build, or you do Well of Radiance with the Phoenix Protocol build, which I don't have, but pretend this is Phoenix Protocol. That's really your only two options. Stasis to freeze everything, and then Well to kind of give your team a safe circle, damage buff from a distance, and then feed them orbs for their supers. That's essentially it. I wouldn't recommend Nova or Stormcaller. As much as I absolutely hate the use of Ursas in endgame content, realistically that's your only choice for Hollowed Lair. The other supers are just not, they're not really viable. You're not going to Thunder Crash one champion, that's a waste. You can't Thunder Crash the boss, that's a waste because he's going to go immune 800 times. So at least Banner Shield, you give protection to your team and make them a ton of orbs when needed, when there's like 800 enemies barreling down on you. So the way I see it, if you're using Titan, realistically your only choice is Ursas with Banner Shield. Finally, you have Hunters, which you can run a Revenant and synergize with Agar's Scepter, which you're going to see in the video here. Or you can run the safer route, which I wouldn't blame anybody, the Hunter with, of course, Nightstalker. You can run either top tree or bottom tree, both are really good. I believe top tree here would be money, because Orpheus Riggs would allow you to get a chunk of your super back, and the one huge problem in the boss room is going to be those middle adds, those two waves where he summons like 50 plus enemies at you. So realistically, an anchor tether with Orpheus Riggs is really, really nice for that. You could totally run bottom tree too, and, you know, have unlimited invis and invis your teammates upon res so they don't get spawn killed. That's totally fine too. But I think Orpheus Riggs shines in this particular GM. Of the GMs, I probably go 6 Coyote and bottom tree. But that's the recommendations for characters. Weapon-wise, I'm going to go over it real quick. Agar's Scepter, really only usable if you have the Catalyst. It's nice to just freeze enemies around you and just stall everything, or you can go nuclear with the Catalyst activation and then just like DPS down a champion or the Abomination or even the boss. You'll see in the video why I use this. It's really helpful in the boss room. Aside from that, there's a vast amount of bows and fusion rifles you can use, because essentially that's all you're really going to need. Fusions because particle deconstruction, and bows because they stun overloads. So you have Binding Winds, you have the Garden Bow, both can roll explosive, both are good. If you're running a kinetic bow, then you can run like Cartesian, Plug 1, No Composure in this slot. If you're running Vex Mythoclast, then you can run like Succession, like so, and then have your teammates run bow. Or you could just, you know, combo out however you want. You could even run double primary, I suppose, if you really feel like it. So you can run a bow and Mythoclast to stun both types of champions, or divide it between your team, whichever you feel is best. And for heavy, realistically, Threaded Needle is probably your best choice, unless you're not using an exotic in either slot. So let's say you're using Succession and Arsenic Bite, then you're probably better off with using 1k Voices, just because the damage boost with Particle Deconstruct. Aside from that, other heavies really aren't that great. You can run LMG if you're getting swarmed by ads a lot to try to mitigate that. That's really it. Anarchy is just, it's okay. It's not great. It's not going to beat Fusions, because Fusions have a free damage buff this season. That's just the point of it, realistically. So, that's character building wise. Now, let's go to tips inside the strike. So the beginning is nothing crazy. You're going to get into the first room. You're going to see one Unstoppable, some Screebs, some Stalkers, which unfortunately spawn mini Screebs, and I hate them and their existence. Moving on, you're going to go a little forward, see an Overload Champion, kill him, as well as a bunch of Stalkers again, which will probably spawn more Screebs, kill them. Next room, you're going to see a big boy Scorn, and then several enemies. I believe 3 Snipers. You should definitely watch out for those and take them out immediately as you can. Then you're going to have 2 Unstoppables to deal with, take those out. And then 3 Shieldy Boys before you finally get to the tank room. Nothing crazy. So a quick note, in case you didn't notice me mentioning baby Screebs, yeah, every time you kill a Stalker in the GM Hollowed Lair, a mini Screeb will spawn, and they're going to be the bane of your existence, because not only are they Screebs, but they sometimes just straight up fuse into the geometry or the floor and become invisible Screebs, and at that point, you might die, you might not die, you're going to play the lottery. But when they don't, you know, just glitch out, you definitely should keep an eye on every stalker you kill, because every single one you kill is going to spawn a mini screeb. This basically includes every sniper you see. They're just going to be everywhere. There's no other way to put it. So you're going to be on your toes quite a bit. Just, I guess, try to keep count, if that's possible. That's the best thing I can say. Other than that, just keep an eye out for glitchy, tiny, explosive bombs on the floor. That's all I'm going to mention about the screebs. You'll find out on your own. Trust me. So in the tank room, the first big tip I can give is that once you've cleared the 2 champions in the room and the 2 snipers, and you're going to start the plate phase, have one person hop on the plate. That's it. Just one. Have that person stand on the plate until it gets to about 10% away from completion, very close to the edge. Get off the plate. Now what you've done, you should be able to spawn the adds only by themselves, and the tank will not spawn, and you're going to be able to just kill all the adds that spawn in initially by themselves, and then continue the fight from there. Once you kill all the adds, then you can fight the tank, and what you can do here is that you can team the 2 front legs of the tank at the same time, have one person do damage on one side, and 2 players on another. It doesn't matter which side which, just have one break, and then the other one will be low, or even if you're lucky enough, you can break both at the same time. Then, what you're going to want to do is nuke the tank, use all your particle deconstruct weaponry, or aggers with the catalyst, if you have, and then kill the tank immediately. Don't let it survive. If you do kill the tank immediately, more adds will not spawn in, and you can just continue the fight normally, saving you a couple of minutes just off of that. Alright, we're going to skip a little forward here. We're going to go straight into the plate room, because I don't need to tell people how to kill, you know, a couple of adds and a champion in a hallway. We're not trying to make this video an hour long. So in the plate room, what you're going to want to do is obviously clear out the initial ad spawn. I believe there's 2 overloads and a bunch of stalkers. Again, watch out for snipe shots and then the baby screebs that follow. There's a ton of stalkers in this room, so you're going to need to look out for those explosive bombs. Once you clear everything out, you're going to want to get on one of the plates at a time. I don't think anybody wants to be psychos and do 2 plates at once, otherwise you wouldn't be here looking for, you know, additional tips. So what you're going to want to do is get on either plate, doesn't matter which one. You're going to get on, and then halfway through you're going to get off. Basically, once you start seeing ad spawn, just get off and then go to the back. There's no reason for you to be there anymore. You're going to get a small initial wave of ads, rather than if you complete the full plate, you're going to just start getting swarmed by snipers, ravagers, an overload, etc. So half plate, see spawns, get off, run to the back, kill all of them. They should all be red bars. Kill the screebs, and then go back on the plate, get it fully down, rinse, repeat. Next plate, halfway, get it down, kill ads, go back on the plate, fully down, rinse, repeat, and then the abomination spawn will happen. Now at this point, it should only be the abomination, and then once you get the abomination down about 30%, it's going to spawn an overload champion and some red bars, and then the next one will spawn after the champ, oh sorry, the abomination is at around 50%. So in total, you're going to have an abomination, 2 overloads, and a bunch of red bars. Obviously, you're going to want to try to get rid of the overload first. Try not to summon additional enemies until that overload's dead. Then deal with the second overload afterwards. And then finally finish off the abomination. What you could do is, you could try to nuke the abomination as much as you possibly can while it's kind of walking out of the doorway. And then just head straight to the back and try to kill it off from a distance. And then work on the overload champions. It's really up to you. Personal preference. I think for most people, you're going to just want to kind of baby the abomination while killing everything around it. Also, quick note, you can use those barricades by the staircase at the back of the room as cover from the abomination. A lot of people seem to not do that for some reason. And there's also some sort of like weird head glitchy space on the left side as well, where sometimes they can hit you, sometimes they can't. I wouldn't risk it personally, but I thought I'd mention it. So, once the abomination's dead, you're done with this room, and you gotta start heading to the boss room. Now, on the way to the boss room, you're going to find a sniper straight ahead of you, far left, next to an overload champion. Immediately kill that sniper. Don't let him live. There's no reason to push any further until that sniper's dead. Once you kill him, you don't have to worry about the overload from that distance. Start killing those shieldy guys ahead of the turbines, one by one. Push very slowly. There's no reason to rush. Once you kill them, kill the overload, finish him for ammo, whatever you need. And then now you're basically up to the bridge section. So at this point, what I would do is either throw your tether, if you're a Nightstalker. If you're Revenant, throw your tornado. Make the ad spawn, including the 2 on-stops, a bunch of stalkers, and 2 snipers. The tornado or the tether will deal with most of the trash mobs, And what you're going to want to do is have a teammate, or 2 teammates even, focus on the 2 orange bar snipers in the back. You can get the orange bar sniper down to maybe about half and then blow up the barrel next to him. It'll kill the sniper and any trash mobs around you, especially the ones that are tethered, and basically just nuke everything in the back. Then at that point, you're basically going to be fighting just 2 unstoppable champions, but again, keep an eye out for any weird glitchy baby screeps that may have died to, well, to the stalkers that died to your tether or tornado, and then spawn screeps that just magically glitch out. Just keep an eye out. After the 2 champions are gone, that's it, you're going to the boss room. Let's get to that. So at the boss room, first things first. You're not nuking the boss. It's not happening. He has 300 million immune phases. You can't burst him down. You can't one-phase him. Don't even bother wasting your ammo. You're going to need to baby the boss because ads are the real problem in this boss fight. So, first 10% of the boss's first health bar. Let's say he has 3 health bars. You know, 3/3, whatever you want to call it. 10% down, he spawns ads on the right side of the room. Then after you kill those ads, about 70% of the first bar down, he'll spawn enemies on the left side of the room. You're going to want to kill all the ads first before proceeding any further, because it'll just make it a giant clusterfuck if you do. So, once you kill all the ads, I would highly recommend that your team go all the way to the far right side of the room, closest to the boss's doorway where he teleports, and then push the boss into his next phase. He's going to teleport out of the room, go into the doorway, and then it'll spawn like 50 plus enemies in the room next to him. Now, the reason I tell you to go to the far right side, closest to their spawn point, is because over here, this is the spot where it's most comfortable for people, I feel like, because if you stand in the middle, the enemies kind of spread out, and they can go to your left, they can go to your right, they can go down the center, but if you go to the far right corner here, you can actually spawn kill the enemies and keep them funneling in on that right side. You have tether, you might have a tornado, you have well, and you might have an aggro scepter, so you can just freeze them over and over, and they'll all just keep coming from that one single side, instead of you getting surrounded by 3 different angles. I think it works really well here. You're going to see on screen how I just basically bully all the ads with either scepter or a tornado, and for the most part, as long as you don't push up straight into a bunch of screebs, you will be fine and nobody should die. I will note that you should still watch out for random scoring grenades, because they seemingly sometimes come out of nowhere, and you can very easily die to them, so just keep an eye on that. And of course, once again, stupid screebs that just glitch out and spawn out of nowhere. Keep an eye out on them 24/7. So, once all the trash mobs are dead, there should be an overload in the middle of the room, probably frozen or tethered still. Just bully him, use a finisher on him if you have to for ammo, if you're running that. And once he's dead, then the boss comes back into the arena. Now, remember how I mentioned ad spawns on his health bar? This time, it's flipped. You're going to damage him a little bit, he's going to spawn ads on the left side of the room this time. And then, once those are dead and you damage him some more, he's going to spawn ads on the right side of the room. It's basically the same thing as the first time, but flipped. Take care of the ads, and then his next phase, he'll be teleporting you in the air instead of himself. Obviously, once he teleports you, you gotta break him, or, well, you die. So, once you break him, I would suggest just immediately going to the right side once again. You never want to really be in the middle, because he does his little, you know, thunderbolt circle of death, and that side is just, well, terrible for cover. Like, if I'm being honest. Never stay in the middle, in the back. Go to the right side. I personally like the right side, so I'm just gonna recommend it. At this point, you're going to damage him again, and then before he pulls you the second time, he should be spawning one last ad wave to your left, so be wary of that. That's why I mentioned baby him with, like, let's say bow damage. Take care of the ads. He's going to teleport you again, break him, etc. And then the next phase will once again be middle ads. So again, huddle up on the right side of the room, get ready for the enemies, make him 2 bars down now, he teleports out. Start using your tether, your squall, your scepter if you have, your well, etc. Bully all the enemies, freeze them, tether them, bloodbound. I wouldn't really recommend using heavy on these. If you have, like, you know, extra bricks on the ground, be my guest. But for the most part, just don't try it, like, 1K'ing yourself or anything, because that could create a really bad position for your teammates. So this time, once you've cleared most of the enemies, the only thing left will be an unstoppable champion. Obviously, I don't need to tell you how to kill an unstoppable. Take him down. Once he's dead, the boss comes back. And at this point, the same thing will repeat. But this time, I don't know if most people noticed, but the final Overload champion that is in the Master Nightfall does not spawn in the GM. Don't know if that's intentional or how that went out. but you don't have to worry about a final overload champ. So what's going to happen is once you clear all the enemies and you're ready to push him, he teleports you in the air, break him, and from this point, you can just immediately pop well, pop tether, whatever you have, and then nuke him straight into oblivion. And, well, the boss is now dead. If you did it right, you shouldn't have to worry about any enemies mauling you while you're getting teleported in the air. Just be wary of which teleport is next, whether he leaves the room or he teleports you in the air. Be mindful of that. Just keep your distance from enemies at all times, including the boss. He can easily one-shot you if you don't have proper resilience or resist mods on. And then finally, again, watch out for stupid explosive screams in the ground. That's essentially all the, I guess, generic tips I can give. Hopefully, the gameplay on screen showed how to kind of handle most situations. Obviously, not everything can go perfectly every time, so you might run into some trouble, but don't get discouraged. This strat does work. We completed this, I believe, 3-4 times day one, so it's definitely effective once you get down to it. So there you go. Hopefully this strat helps. If you enjoy the video or the guide helps you, be sure to like and subscribe. Also, I stream daily on Twitch, twitch.tv/SnakyBeaver. Alright, goodbye.